NFL Daily by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here. Thanks for joining us on today's show. We're going to have a little fun. We're going to react to your hot takes. The hotter the take, the better. And this comes from our live show that we do on Mondays, where we ask people to use the hashtag hot take, or they can super chat, either one, and they get on the show. So we'll go through these hot takes one by one, and I will give you my reaction to these, which could be funny, could be absurd. Without further ado, let's get after it. Marcos, Xavien Howard will be a top 3 corner for the Miami Dolphins. I don't think that's terribly crazy. You look at some of the corners around the league, and I was so impressed last year with Sauce Gardner and Tariq Woolen, what they did. Devin Witherspoon's obviously coming in to the fold. And I'll put it this way. It's not like it's an established, big three of sorts at the corner position. Let me put it that way. You go back to the day when you had Darrelle Revis and Richard Sherman, and it was, okay, those guys and then everyone else, right? There's a number of good corners across the NFL right now where there's not a consensus top 3. So Xavien Howard, I think he could have a good year. I don't think that's as crazy as maybe some might think, actually. Adam writes, hashtag hot take, Garrett Wilson will be the best receiver Rodgers ever played with. Now, that is a hot take because obviously you include Davante Adams in there, the future Hall of Famer in his own right. Garrett Wilson's very, very good. I don't think he's as good as Davante Adams, but time will tell on this one. Garrett Wilson, I think his ceiling is incredibly high. I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to love playing with Garrett Wilson. I think that Garrett Wilson is going to be one of, if not the better receivers in the league. I think he's got a chance to crack that top 5 potentially. But better than Davante Adams. I mean, Davante Adams don't just walk through the door every day, okay? I don't know about Davante Adams, but I think Garrett Wilson's going to be very good. I like that spicy take, though. Aaron Rodgers is going to be very pleased to be playing with Garrett Wilson, though. Another Aaron Rodgers one. Fields Truther. I like this. Hot take. I think Aaron Rodgers is cooked, and the Jets will be a disaster. Do you agree? Agree? Okay. So I'll say this. I got to tell you, I think Aaron Rodgers was not set up in a good position to succeed last year. Did he take a significant step back last year? Sure, he did. But I think that Aaron Rodgers has been here before, right? Remember a few years ago, everybody thought that he had taken a step back and that maybe they should be looking towards Jordan Love, when they drafted Jordan Love, right? And then he came back to win back-to-back MVPs. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going back to an MVP level, but I do think that Aaron Rodgers is going to play with a chip on his shoulder with something to prove. I think you're going to see a very good Aaron Rodgers this year. Not MVP caliber, but definitely Pro Bowl caliber, and still be in the conversation to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. As far as the Jets go, the Jets had a really good defense last year. The skill position players are there. You get Breece Hall back and all that at some point this year. The Jets, I think, are a playoff team. I don't think they're winning the division. I think the Bills will. But the Jets will make some noise. So, no, I do not think the Jets are going to be a disaster. I don't think Rodgers is cooked. Watch out. Aaron Rodgers is going to come out of this darkness retreat and have a very fine year. Sorry, Fields Truther, but I like what Aaron Rodgers is going to do. What do you think? Will the Jets make the playoffs? This is our pinned comment today. Jets, Jets. What do you think? Will the Jets make the postseason or not? Y for yes, N for no. Are you buying the New York Jets or not? Tell us what you think in the comment section. Y for yes, N for no. Chris Montgomery, all right. Chris Olave, top 5 receiver. Well, I think producer Trace is going to appreciate this. I really like Chris Olave. I think Chris Olave is fantastic. Top 5 receiver. Don't know if he's there yet. One day, yes. But Chris Olave, I think, is going to be fantastic, and he does everything, right? I mean, I remember watching him in college at Ohio State, and in particular, a game that he played against Minnesota. It was on a Thursday night. And I'm watching this game, and I remember saying to my buddies as I was watching this game, this is unfair. Ohio State's got an NFL receiver going up against this lowly Minnesota defense. And I think they put up 40 points that night. Sure enough, they had 3 NFL receivers on that team with Jackson Smith and Jigba and Garrett Wilson as well. Chris Olave is fantastic. He's got a bright future in this league. Maybe early to call him top 5, but someday, one day, yes, he will be top 5, Chris. Adam writes in, Bennett will be the starting quarterback by week 8 for the Rams. This one I don't think is as hot of a take as you think, and here's why. Before you jump on me about this in the comments section and cut my neck off, let me explain. Matthew Stafford, does anybody expect him to stay healthy? I mean, realistically. Matt Stafford, last year, when he was healthy too, he wasn't playing that great. To me, Stetson Bennett starting by week 8 is not some indictment that Stetson Bennett is the second coming or something. You know, like that's not anything to Stetson Bennett's credit at all. Let me preface that here. I'm not a Stetson Bennett fan whatsoever. Let me make that clear. But I don't trust Matthew Stafford to make it through the entire season. By default, then, Stetson Bennett would become the starter at that point. So could he play week 8? I mean, yeah, it could happen. But it doesn't mean that it's anything that Stetson Bennett did. I just don't know if Matt Stafford's going to make it through the whole season. But Stetson Bennett, fraud. I am finding myself rooting against Stetson Bennett. Flacco Taco? Okay, interesting. Broncos can be contenders this year. Now, are we saying Super Bowl contenders or playoff contenders? Let's just go under the assumption of Super Bowl contenders. Hell no. That's not happening. Broncos should be not taken seriously at all. Russell Wilson took a significant step back last year. I would be surprised if Russell Wilson is as bad this upcoming year as he was last year. I think playing under Sean Payton, that should be a difference. But beyond that, like, you look at that, the rest of the team around him, they got issues there. Broncos are not contenders. Robert Bruce writes, Pats make the playoffs. Jones throws for over 4,000 yards and 28 touchdowns. I think the Patriots are better than what people give them credit for. Mac Jones should be improved. Playing with Bill O'Brien, that'll go a long way as far as I'm concerned. The Pats will see improvement. With that said, 4,000 yards and 28 touchdowns would be something special for Mac Jones. I think he is going to have the best season of his career to this point. You're going to see him take a step in the right direction. But I do have concerns about the skill position players, the wide receivers in particular. Are they good enough for Mac to put up those type of numbers? We'll see. Patriots, I think, are more like a between 7 to 9 win team. Got to have a lot of things go right. And the AFC is very deep. Don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but Mac Jones will surprise some people. Desperate Raider. Aren't they all desperate? Derek Carr is awful, and the Saints are a joke. So earlier, I said that producer Trace was going to be very happy with me about what I said about the Saints. Now, Trace might want to turn off my microphone about what I'm going to say next. Yes, Derek Carr is not a good quarterback. Derek Carr is a fraud, and every time Derek Carr cashes a paycheck, he's stealing money. The Saints are not good. They got all sorts of issues that you look at that team. The Saints, I'm not buying at all whatsoever. I think this is going to go very poorly. The one silver lining for the New Orleans Saints and for Derek Carr and company is that division is so bad that the Saints might not be a good team, but still win 8 games and win the division potentially. So I have my doubts about Derek Carr. He does have good receivers like Chris Olave, like we mentioned. But I'm not sold at all as far as the Saints go. That hot take, I like that hot take. I don't think the Saints are going to be that good. I think they're going to be cleaning house at the end of this season. Will Derek Carr be a success with the New Orleans Saints. If you're in on Derek Carr, type B for buy. If not, type S for sell. Chime in the comment section. Tell me what you think. Will Derek Carr be a success with the New Orleans Saints or not? B for buy, S for sell. President Redacted says Baker Mayfield experiences a career revival and leads the Bucs to an NFC South title. President Redacted, I love this one. I am a big Baker Mayfield fan. That's no secret. I think Baker Mayfield is going to have a very good year in 2023. That he's going to pick up kind of where he left off from where he was with the Los Angeles Rams when he took over when Matt Stafford went down. Baker Mayfield should be pretty good. And Dave Canales comes over from Seattle where he was quarterback's coach, worked with Geno Smith, and Geno had the best year of his career. I think that's going to be a nice pairing of Baker and Dave Canales there. Now, as far as winning the division goes, not quite. I think Baker will be an improvement, that he'll play very well. But you get question marks on that offensive line there. I personally, now I know that we've had questions come in from now Buck fans and Saints fans. I'm not. I promise you, I'm not trying to piss off the NFC South audience here, but I like the Falcons to win the division. I think the Falcons are the best team. They played way better than what their roster was last year. Desmond Ridder, I think, is a decent quarterback. You bring in Bijan Robinson. Personally, I like the Falcons better than I do those teams. Baker will be an improvement, but the Falcons come away with the division. Last one from GM Evan writes in, Anthony Richardson have a huge rookie season, 20 touchdowns to interceptions, 3,500 yards, 7 rush touchdowns, 1,300 yards. Anthony Richardson, I believe, gained like 11 pounds of muscle this offseason. Took a huge step in the right direction. And the thing that I'll say this about Anthony Richardson, that he has kind of going for him of sorts, is the potential, right? You weren't drafting Anthony Richardson because of what you saw in Florida, because what you saw out of Florida wasn't that much to be desired. He's still only like 20 years old, whatever it may be. Anthony Richardson's got a long ways to go. And he wasn't one of my favorite quarterbacks in this draft, if I'm going to be real with y'all, but you want authenticity, I give it to you. I don't think Anthony Richardson's going to have that great of a year, but he could prove me wrong. 20 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 3,500 yards, 7 rushing touchdowns, 1,300. That seems overly optimistic. I don't think Anthony Richardson is going to be that good, but we'll see. Hit me up social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Threads. It's all the same place. Tyler Jones Live, you can find me there. And I'll see you next time, right here on NFL Daily.